Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This is video 8 in a series of Palo Alto firewall configuration videos, exploring the world of Palo Alto and um, demonstrating some of the features and capabilities of this wonderful device. Today's video is going to be about blocking known threats using security profiles. We have a number of objectives to accomplish. One, we're going to generate traffic without profiles, without security profiles, and take a look at the logs. Then we're going to create security profiles. Then we're going to create a security group. We're going to apply the security group to an existing security policy, and we're going to generate some traffic with the profile and examine the logs. So let's jump straight into it and have some fun. So first thing is we're going to do is we are going to jump over to our profiles. And again, guys, if you've been following this series, um, you know, I have previous configurations for the firewall in place, so that way it makes the videos a little quicker. I'm not having to reconfigure the firewall from scratch every single time. I'll jump into the next video. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to generate some traffic um, without a security profile. And you can see here's the rules that we have in place currently. These rules were created in our last video. Um, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to jump over to our remote desktop client, and we're going to SSH into our extranet server, which is located at ifconfig, located at this IP address. That's 50.10. There's a number of IPs set up on this device, but that's the primary one that we use for web access, or actually this one too, 50.80. So we can reach the device from any of these IPs, but yeah. So let's clear this, and we're going to change our directory. There's a pcaps file we have pre-installed, which is pcaps 92019 attack. I just tabbed it out too. In Linux, you can tab out once you start a command. You can hit the tab button, and Linux will finish the command for you, which is super cool. So we're jumping into that directory. We're going to do a list. Let's see what's in here. So we have some files in here, some pcap files in here, pre-installed, and so we're going to run this malware attack shell right here, highlighted in green. That one. So we'll copy that. I could just throw it in, or I could have just tabbed it out as well. We're gonna run that shell. This will take about 6 minutes to complete, and we'll just let that run uninterrupted. So at some point in this video, I will fast forward some of this stuff, so that way you guys don't have to sit and watch it. But again, we'll let that run in the background, and we're going to jump over to our web server, which, as I mentioned previously, is located at 50.80. And we're going to download a file that we have stored on that web server. Let's go ahead and save that. And let's go here. Same address, separate path, company, SSN, text. So this is going to be some social security numbers, as you can see, Sherlock Holmes, so forth and so on. So notice, guys, we can actually reach um, that text file, okay? Which we don't want to be able to do long term. Um, so we're going to open up a terminal. Let's go back to our desktop client and see how that's going. That's still running, which is good. Open up our terminal. We're going to do a dig command, which is similar to NS lookup at 8 at Google. So it's 8.8.8.8 www.quora.com. You can see this gives us a lot of information regarding the Quora site, IP and so forth information. So we're going to leave this open. So that's just generated our public IP address for that site. But again, all this is useful. You'll see as the lab goes on what was the relevance of doing that. So we're going to jump over to objects, security profiles, and we're going to jump into antivirus. Click the default. We're going to clone this profile. Which is generally what I do and what we do in production too. Because Palo is great about providing these default profiles that you can just kind of build on, so you're not having to build them from scratch. So it's super cool. So I'm going to click this entry for default 1. We're going to rename it corporate AV. Click OK. We're going to leave all the settings as the same. And we're going to do the same thing for our vulnerability profile. We're going to clone the strict profile that's already there, pre-configured. Clone that. Click OK. We'll name this corporate vulnerability. Let's give a description to this. Vulnerability profile for all security policy rules. Good. We're also going to name our AV. We already named it. We're just going to add a description. Standard antivirus profile for all. Rules. I'm actually going to copy this and just paste it and modify it for each profile that we create. So we're going to create our file blocking policy or profile now. Going to clone. We'll clone the strict profile. Click OK. Do that. Do that. Standard file blocking. It's going to be corp FB for file blocking. Or we'll just name it out. Okay. We're going to do the same thing for data filtering. And this data filtering is going to be more for if we want to detect and block the transfer of files that contain social security numbers, birth dates. We can create this data filter to do that. Super cool. It's super cool. So we're going to go to objects, and we're going to jump over to custom objects, data patterns, add. As you see, we're going to name this US social security numbers, and this is going to detect social security numbers. And we're going to do a predefined pattern. Okay. So we're going to scroll down to social security numbers. Add that with and without the dashes. Okay. Super cool, guys. So then this is part of our data loss prevention security profile setup. Then we're going to jump over to data filtering. Add that. We'll call this corporate data filter. Profile for all security rules. And now we're just going to add that data filter that we created earlier. Okay, any application, any type, directions both ways. Alert threshold, we want to set this to 1. Block has threshold to 3. And critical. Okay, so I'll be honest, I'm not sure what these values do. I could look it up and learn in an instant. And that's another thing you guys will learn, hopefully, along the way, that you don't have to know everything. You just have to be curious. So what's alert threshold 1 do? What's a block threshold 3 do? Quick Google search, you'll know the answer, right? And you'll understand why to set it that way. But just for the sake of this video and just to be quick, I'll run through it. But let's do it anyway. I can't help myself. I can't help myself. Alert threshold. Meaning Palo Alto Firewall. Google is every curious person's best friend. So define specific metric, packet buffer. So let's go back. Data filtering must occur on when a block is says how many instances of malicious content occur. Got it. Alert threshold. So if this occurs one time, it alerts. 3 times, it blocks it. Easy. So yep, if it pops an alert threshold, if it hits that threshold, if it hits this threshold one time, alert it. 3 times, block it. Cool. Guys, don't worry about not knowing everything. There's a lot to learn no matter what you're doing. If you're networking, data analytics, network security, doesn't matter what you're doing. You don't have to be an expert. You just have to be curious, and you have to have an aptitude and a proper attitude. You'll hear, um, you'll be an interview. You'll go to an interview, or you'll hear coworkers say things like, you know, "Oh, you don't know that," or "Why don't you know that?" And sometimes because depending on where you are in your journey, you could be 25 years in and not know and still be learning, right? Um, and still be faking it till you make it, right? It just depends on your circumstances. But my advice to everyone, and this is not just professionally but in life, is to remain curious and keep a positive attitude. Because with that, it doesn't matter what anyone says. You can learn it, and just like again, you guys watch me learn this in real time, right? Now I know when I'm creating a corporate data filter, a data filtering profile, I know how to set my parameters. I know that hey, if it alerts, if these criteria, if it matches on that pattern one time, I want to know about it. I'll probably get an email or something. And if it matches, if if it matches on this criteria once, I get an alert. 3 times, it's automatically going to be blocked. You guys watch me learn that real time, and hopefully you learned it real time as well. So let's jump over to anti-spyware. Yeah, um, I've worked in environments where coworkers uh, or hiring managers, you know, didn't appreciate a curious mind and or expected you to be an expert. And for me, when I didn't land those roles or those opportunities, I realized that it was a hidden blessing. Because then I land a role where, and I have multiple degrees and I have about 12 certifications, guys. So, you know, but a manager would interview me and say, hey, one, you're a great culture fit. Two, you're honest, right? You're not sitting here acting like you're an expert that knows everything. You know what you know, right? And if you don't know it, you say, I'm not sure, but I could look it up. And, you know, attitude and aptitude, right? I have the attitude to want to learn it and the aptitude to grasp it and know how to apply it practically. So if you have those two things, guys, don't worry about the things that you don't know. Just get solid in the things that you do know. Approach it with a positive attitude, and it'll always work out in the end. Um, so my motto is things happen for me and not to me. So I always try to keep that positive outlook, and I think it served me and my family well. Okay, we're going to keep all these default settings. That's our corporate spyware. Now we're going to create an EDL. Um, so what we want to do in this section is configure the firewall to ingest EDLs, external dynamic list, that contain entries for several malicious domains that users should not access due to company restrictions. So we have a list of those domains um, that we're going to import in, but we're going to configure firewall to import the EDLs from a server, and then uh, with the list configured on the firewall, we can update the corporate corporate anti-spyware profiles and sinkhole entries. So let's jump over to EDLs. We're going to add. This is so fun. For some people this is work, but to me this is just fun. I love this. We're going to cancel that. And we're going to grab malicious domains EDL external dynamic list. The type is going to be domain list. And look, you can choose, IP lists, predefined URLs, all kinds of stuff. Let's do domain list. So we're going to do domain list. And all right, custom list of bad domains maintained on the extranet server. Parentheses EDL contains the domains Quora, which you guys have noticed that we did a dig command on earlier. .com and product hunt.com. Close parentheses. Automatically expand to include its subdomains. I love that. So in case it has a /, whatever, we can check for that and check for updates every 5 minutes. Here we go. I missed something. 192.168.50.80 malicious domains .text. You guys will notice this is our extranet, our DMZ server address. So I forgot to add that in there, but now that's taken care of. And here's a cool little button too. We can test our source URL. This button here, source URL is accessible. Good to go. Nice. Now we're going to update our anti-spyware profile. Go here. We're going to go to our DNS policies, and you'll see that EDL that we just created is showing. So we want to go here. We want to make this policy action. We want to sinkhole it. Yep, that's good. Medium sinkhole disable. There we go. So just had to click enter, click OK. Medium sinkhole disable. Okay, let's commit this. Our script has completed. So that's good. We'll wait for the commit. And while we're waiting for that, we're going to create our security group. So we're going to go to, we're already in objects, and we'll look for security profile, groups. We'll name it corporate profiles group. And now we'll add our individual profiles. You can see this. This is kind of cool because then you can just add this entire security group to a policy and it'll apply all these things versus having to apply them individually. File blocking, data filtering, no URL profile, and none for wildfire analysis. Okay, got that. Go to our policies. And now to our existing policies, we can use this little arrow right here to collapse this panel so we can see more of the screen. And if you notice, in this profile section, there's no currently there's no profiles. So we're going to add some profiles. So let's add to this one. Simple as that. So now we just added that entire profile group to that rule. Users extranet. We could also add them individually if we click profiles, but it makes no sense to do that. Smarter, actually, oh, neither here nor there. I won't mention it, but yeah, I've seen that where individual, because the team didn't really know any different, just added those individuals, which is the same. It functions the same way, but this is just more efficient to create the group and add it as a group versus individually. It's less work, and we all like to work smarter. I think prefer to work smarter than harder. So add it to the rest of these. Super easy, guys. Super easy. Not building rockets. This is just straight to the point. So again, any traffic hitting any of our allow rules will now be filtered through this profile group. You know, um, another way we could have done this too is we could have actually opened up the rule. I prefer to do it the way I just did. On the main policies page, but if you wanted to, you could go in here, go to profile, group, same thing. A million ways to get it done. Profile groups have been added. It's done. Close that out. Wait for the commit to complete. And then we're going to run our script again. Oops, too fast. All right, so it's good to go. Now let's run the script again. Now, let's open a new private window. And let's see if we can hit into our server, our extranet server, in that bad tar file.tar. Let's see if we can get to that. Oh. So we know our file transfer, our file block profile is working. Beautiful. Even got a block page. I want to see something real quick. Do we have our block page enabled? File dot application block page enabled, file blocking. I'm just curious. Let's jump over here real quick. Let's do action not equal to allow. Let's check out our blocks real quick. Okay, I was just curious. Now, let's see if we can reach that previous page that had the social security numbers. We cannot. Ha ha ha. Yeah, let's close this guy. And let's see if we can reach core again. Because remember, we had a core to the list. Sinkhole it. Nice. Nice. So guys, you see there, our security profiles are working. Working like a charm. So let's jump over to the monitor. Go to our threat logs. And this is where you can see, let's expand this. This is where you can see those profiles in action, right? So you can see that there is a Trojan, and this is all related to the EDLs as well. So there's numerous entries for spyware and vulnerabilities. Look at this stuff. Oh yeah, gotcha. Dirty rat. Dirty rat. These entries blocked by the vulnerability and anti-spyware. This is all vulnerability and spyware. This stuff was blocked by those profiles. You see where traffic was, Quora was Sinkhole. Beautiful. Yeah, yeah, gotcha. All right. So that'll bring an end to this lab. Guys, hopefully you learned something from it or at least enjoyed it. And I'll see you in the next one.